We're recording.
All right. Welcome. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Kristen Spiewak. I'm the Industry Marketing Manager for NEC Display Solutions. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We've got a great turnout. We've got some great information to share with you today. We appreciate you taking your time out of your day. We've got a couple of our product specialists all over the country that are going to be ready to share some tremendous education technology with you. So again, thank you for joining us. I wanted to start out because I think we can all agree that the education market certainly has been impacted by the pandemic. And as far as education technology goes, I mean, we're working with customers. They're moving forward with projects. They're sourcing product. They want to do their installs early because schools are out of session and only doing e-learning, which is fantastic. But if you're a school or a reseller or an integrator and you're kind of on hold, I think that you're going to find this information today is going to be extremely helpful. So when the time is right and you're ready to move forward with your installs and your sourcing product, I think you'll have the best information at your fingertips to make the best investment for your schools. So a couple things, we are recording this session and we'll be able to share that with you. If you have a question, feel free to use the chat and we'll try to answer it the best we can. We will take some questions at the end as well. And again, we're all over the country, so bear with us as we move through some of the presentations, but we hope you enjoyed the information. And again, thanks for joining us. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Mark Knox, who's one of our product specialists in regards to projection. Spends many, many miles on the road traveling to lots of universities and a lot of schools and has a wealth of knowledge to talk about the latest and greatest in projection. So I'm going to hand it over to Mark.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you for everybody who has joined us. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for spending your lunch hour with us if you're on the East Coast. What we want to do today is we really do want to talk about the offerings that we have right now in education, not just higher education, which we tend to focus on quite a bit from a projection standpoint, but also K through 12, right? So a couple of things are going to happen today. First, we're going to go ahead and run through our current promotions and warranties. And we like to do this at the beginning so that as we're moving through the presentation, it could be in the front of your mind to say, hey, what projector, what collaboration board series am I looking for to maybe take advantage of some of those promotions and warranties? Then you're going to hear about some technology, right? Some new laser technology that we've just launched in our ultra short throw series, as well as the ongoing laser offerings that we have in the PEPA series as well. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to have a live demonstration from Mr. George Borden on the collaboration board. So as Kristen said, as we dive in, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those into the chat and we'll try to answer those as we go. Our goal is to have a few minutes toward the end of the presentation for live Q&A, and we will utilize the chat for that as well. So not wasting any more time, let's get going. Wanted to remind everyone or introduce for the first time of you who may not be familiar with NEC's higher education and K-12 STAR student programs. We have a very competitive education program compared to market standards. Just a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. First and foremost, you're going to receive 2 free additional years on all projectors for a total of 5 years of the warranty. Now, the laser projectors already have a standard 5-year warranty, but this is going to apply to those projectors that are utilizing lamps, right? So this takes that duty cycle and extends it even further and gives you peace of mind when it comes to your warranty. It's also going to offer you an additional year, which is going to be a total of 4 years of warranty for the CB series, which, like I said before, Mr. George Borden is going to run through that for us. You've also got access to the trade-in, trade-up, recycle program. So if you do have some legacy product, NEC or any manufacturer on campus, they are eligible to be traded in for credit toward the purchase of new projectors and other NEC displays. And then, of course, access to the exclusive STAR student promotions. And we release newsletters, we release marketing emails, constantly updating the STAR student program, enhancing the STAR student program. So you definitely want to make sure you're a part of that. Now, the only thing that really needs to happen in order to be enrolled in the STAR student program is that the end user of the school needs to visit www.necstarstudent.com and go ahead and register that particular opportunity. Another very exciting industry first promotion that we have in projection is an untraditional buy 10 get one free scenario, right? So in the past, it was buy 10 or buy X and get X free of one model of projector. Now, the way that we've done this differently at NEC is we've taken it and we've applied that through our entire series of laser projectors. So from P, PA, PX, and PH series models. Now, I know some of the latter ones may not stretch into, K-12 and higher education. However, the idea behind this is if you buy 10, a mix and match of any combination of those models, you're going to get the lowest common denominator as your 11th projector absolutely free. And you can apply this, let's say if you buy 20 units of mix and match, then you're going to get 2 units free, 33 units, so on and so forth. Very exciting promotion. And to be able to include the PH series and the PX series in this is really a game changer. Another awesome promotion that we've got now, which is going to apply to most of you guys on the phone. So like I said before, keep these promotions in mind as we do run through the projector technology, is the MC and ME series projectors, NEC's try before you buy promo, right? So I'm going to ask Kristen to give us an example, Kristen, of this program and how you've seen it work in the past.
Sure. We have seen tremendous positive response to this promo. We kept hearing from our IT directors that they really wanted the opportunity to try it, to take a look at it, and everyone has been extremely happy with the quality. We've made it extremely simple. You go to a website, you pick which model you want, you literally, it ships within 24 hours. They have 30 days to demo the projector. If they love it and they order 10 or more, the demo's yours to keep. If you don't like it, simply ship it back, done deal. We will do whatever it takes. But we're, again, seeing tremendous response to this. We've got tons of demos. If you're interested, again, this would be on our Star Student site. You can just go and request a demo. But I think it's a great promo.
That's awesome. So just to expand on this, now this particular promotion is for MC and ME series models. Those are both lamped models, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I also wanted to touch on the fact that we do have every single NEC model, whether it be projection or large flat panel display, available for an up to 30-day absolutely free demo, right? And we have plenty of stock in our demo selection right now. We can ship to you pretty much instantaneously, right? So keep that in mind for the other series of projectors as well. Now, before we get into some of the technology, we do want to talk about InstaCare. And this is, again, best-in-class warranty, 3 years on the lamp-based models and 5 years on laser models. And this does include next-day replacement. Again, for education accounts, the worst thing that can happen is a classroom goes down for any measurable amount of time, right? Now, if you're in a situation where you don't have a spare unit where you can hot swap it, rest assured that you're going to get a next-day replacement. So you're going to have the ability when the projector goes down from NEC, which occasionally does happen, unfortunately, for numerous amounts of reasons, you're going to have the option to send that projector in. But as you're sending that unit in, we've already got one en route to you. So it's going to be with you just within a couple of days to minimize the downtime of that particular classroom. So let's go ahead and move into some of the technology, right? So first and foremost, I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about laser technology in general, because this is a major part of the offerings that we're going to discuss today. A couple benefits of laser. First and foremost, maintenance free, right? So the models that you're going to see today that are laser are filterless models. Beyond being filterless, they're also lampless, which is obviously the meaning of the laser. So you're looking at 20,000 hours of operation, and that's 20,000 hours to half brightness or half life with zero maintenance. Now, traditionally, the only two things that you needed to do maintenance on a projector was the lamp and the filter. We've eliminated both of those by utilizing laser and utilizing an enclosed optical system that uses proprietary gas to cool the units versus a passive system that just constantly pushes air and dust over all the components, right? So you're looking at maintenance-free, mercury-free for those buildings that you may be coming in contact with that are LEED certified green spaces. These projectors will fit perfectly into that methodology. That gives you reduced labor costs, of course, consistent light output, right? So no more of a person coming into the room and saying, hey, the projector was bright yesterday, but now it's not, and I can't see it anymore because there is no lamp to replace. So the light degradation is very linear over time versus a very sharp drop off. We've also introduced in our series high lumen density LEDs, right? And there's a picture of that right there on the upper right-hand side. A high lumen density LED uses a colored LED to produce the color in conjunction with LCD panels to give you that brilliant color. Now, we've got a model that I'm going to point to in a few minutes, the UM383WL, that is rated at about 3,800 lumens. However, when we test it in the lab, it goes closer to 5,000 lumens, and the perceived brightness is even brighter than that, right? So this is the first time that we've been able to get an ultra short throw projector up into that 4,500 lumen range, right? So let's talk about MC and ME. Now, these are the models that Kristen mentioned before that are eligible for the try before you buy program. Okay, so a couple call outs for this particular series. You're looking at up to 15,000 hour lamp life. That's right, 15,000 hour lamp life. Now, traditionally, your lamp was going to last you between 25 and 3,500 hours. However, we've re-engineered the traditional lamp to last quite a bit longer. So even though this is a lamped model and lamp replacements would be imminent traditionally, in this particular scenario, you're going to get up to 15,000 hours of lamp life, which in a classic K-12 scenario is 6.5 years, right? So let's say you have a duty cycle or a classroom refresh of between 4 and 6 years. This is going to fit right into that scenario, right into that time frame. Matt, if I could ask you quickly, I know we discussed this before we came on the call. You had some ideas about some different applications where the ME and MC series would fit. You want to expand on that?
Yeah, definitely. So primary place this would go more of a K-12 environment, smaller classroom. But if you have an existing installation or existing standard throw projector on a mount on the ceiling, this would easily take the place of that and update that technology considerably. Like Mark said, instead of 5,000 or 3,000 hour lamp replacement, you'd be looking at up to 15,000. Also, would be very common with this model would be putting it on a mobile cart, right? You know, where you have the laptop and all the devices on the cart, and you can move that around. It would excel in that type of application as well.
Yeah, we know for some school districts, you know, putting a permanent projector in one location in the classroom is not always possible, whether it be a financial standpoint or just ease of operation. And, you know, the mobile carts in really large school districts where you're talking about one projector that has to be signed out, it has to be shared between multiple classrooms. This is a great option to be able to deploy a whole fleet of mobile cart, all the components and sources, with this projector really being the capstone. Moving on to the series, this is what I spoke about before, right? So this is a 0.37 throw distance projector. What does that mean, right? So for a 100-inch wide screen, you're going to be 27 inches away from the screen surface, which can easily be achieved with the included mount if you so choose that package that you can see right here in the picture. So this is going to be great for images up to 130 inches. Now, traditionally with ultra short throw projectors, 115 inches was the maximum, right? And that was because the corners wouldn't focus and the image would get really soft as you got to the lower portion of the screen. However, since we're pushing more light through with this high lumen density LED and we've got better color, you see less of a drop off in the color and the focus. This projector also has actual focus and shift and zoom knobs, which is a lot different from traditional ultra short throw projectors that we've seen in the past. So this is a patented technology. Again, best of both worlds, right? You're getting a inexpensive package, ultra short throw, which is going to allow you to really walk right up to the screen and to be able to command the class from a teaching standpoint, extremely close to the screen without any shadows. And then, of course, you're going to get the 20,000 hour life of the projector with the 5-year warranty, right? So this is the UM383WL. Again, we've got this particular model ready to be deployed as a 30-day demo right now. So if this is something that you're interested in, definitely contact one of your reps, or you can contact any one of us on after this call, and we will get that process started. We'll send it to your house, we'll send it to your place of business, and we'll send it to your school if that's something that you want. Now I'm going to pass it off to Matt. Matt's going to talk about the PE series. PE series is a entry-level laser for NEC. Go ahead, Matt.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everybody. So let's, like Mark just said, let's talk installation projectors. Now, where these would be a little bit different, like from the ME and MC we talked about earlier, these are going to be a little bit larger. They're going to get brighter, and they're going to have higher resolution up to 1080p or WXGA. And then also they're going to give you some advanced geometric correction capabilities. And then we're going to focus mainly on the laser models today. So the PE series, this is a model we launched late last year. It's very new, actually, still for us. It is 3 LCD. So for a classroom environment, you can put any kind of content on this projector, anything from video to art, or spreadsheets, etc. This would work in any department in the school. What this model does specifically is bring that laser price point down low enough to where this could be deployed in large amounts. As we move up the series, we add in a few more features, and we'll talk about that. But the PE series here lets you get a 4,500 lumen laser projector for very reasonable cost into all your classrooms. So it's very exciting. And as you see here, you can do almost any screen size with that. And then as you move up into the P series, you'll notice the picture didn't change very much. They're actually based on the same chassis. What the P series gives you that the PE does not have is it gives you horizontal and vertical lens shift, as well as increased lumens, right? So we're above 5,000. So you'll see there P525WL, 5,200 lumens WXGA, all the way up to the P605UL, which is 6,000 lumens. Now, something I want to call out that I realized wasn't on our slides that is really important. These are going to be the quietest projectors you've ever seen. So if you do take advantage of what Mark talked about and get a demo or get one sent out to you, you have to put your ear a few inches away from the cabinet to hear these. If the air conditioning is running in the room, you're going to have a hard time hearing these projectors run, and that's really exciting. They are also filterless, Mark talked about. So a lot of our competitors' laser projectors, they require a routine changing of a panel filter to keep the air coming in clean, right? These do not require that. They have a sealed module, sealed laser light module. Again, 3 LCD. A really nice thing about these, they are not 4K projectors, but a lot of you are wondering what that 4K ready logo in the bottom there shows. You can put a 4K signal to these projectors, and they'll scale that down and give you a 1080p image on the screen, right? So you don't have to worry about, okay, what's this person's laptop set at, et cetera, et cetera. The projector will figure it out, and that's really exciting.
Hey, Matt, let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Why is the sound that the projector makes, why could that be critical for, let's say, a K-12 or a smaller classroom in higher education?
Yeah, definitely. So let's say, like you mentioned earlier, you have a 100-inch screen, or you have something that is smaller. Typically, that's going to be over the heads of that first or second row of students in a smaller classroom. And if the projector is putting out a lot of noise and pitch above their head, that's going to be distracting, especially in a K-12 environment. Those kids can be distracted easily anyhow, but with this being quieter, it's going to be more focused on the teacher at the front of the class. In a university environment, expanding upon that, you might have three or four of these in a class. You might have 2 of these aimed at the front and 1 at each side wall. And the combined noise of a louder model would become very distracting quickly as you scale up the numbers of them in the room.
Mm-hmm. Hey, talk to us a little bit about the onboard HD-based T that comes in this P series.
Of course, yeah. So this is one of the first models in this price range that had HD-based T. It is an addition over the PE series we did just talk about. That would have typically HDMI input as the main digital source. This one has HDMI as well as adding HD-based T for some advanced installations. If you want to run Now we're going to move over to PA series. The big line of demarcation here with this is you'll notice those cool little images of the lenses. The previous models we talked about had standard lenses, right? So those lenses are permanently installed to that unit, and they'll have a usable range from from so close to so far in that room. With the PA series chassis, as we move up, you get all those benefits of LCD, quiet. This is actually the Lance model. We also have laser, but then the lenses become a la carte, right? So we have a standard bundle for a standard throw lens, but as you look on the left here, you'll see that larger lens with the glass on the strange shape there. That would actually allow you from about 30 inches off the wall to put up a 120-inch screen, right? So you could take a 6,500 lumen or 8,000 lumen projector, put up a very, very bright 120-inch image on the front of the classroom, and you could have that above the teacher's or professor's head, and there'd be no shadowing. So that's really exciting. That would be an ultra short throw lens. Now, like we said, these start at 6,500 lumens. The XGA model goes all the way up to 9,000 lumens. But if you're looking at maybe a 1080p or WXGA application, that would be 6,500 and 8,000 lumens that you could get those models there. As Mark has just transitioned, there was a slight change. You'll notice the picture on the right changed. Everything else stayed the same. This is our laser variant of that. Now, what this does is it adds the maintenance-free aspect to it, right? There's no filter. There is no lamp. So if you're going to have an installation maybe on a relatively high ceiling in a gymnasium or something, this would be the way to go, right? High ceiling auditorium, cafeteria, gymnasium. These excel in that role. So the only thing with maintenance here is if it's an extremely dirty room, just make sure it's getting air in its intake. There's no need to change any parts on it. Now, this projector can go anywhere in a room, right? If you have a large auditorium, you could put this anywhere from in the drop ceiling, very close to the front of the room for the professor, or you could put it in a projection booth all the way at the back of the auditorium, right, or the large classroom. There's a lot of capability with this projector and flexibility. Again, 3 LCD. This will work in every department across the whole campus. So standardizing on this would work for art, business. Every department would enjoy the color and the crisp image of it. So 3 LCD, also it'll accept 4K signal. There is no issue if you deploy these this year or next year. And if you say maybe in 2 or 3 years, we're going to be updating our infrastructure, our Xtron gear, et cetera, Crestron gear, and then maybe we're going to be moving to a 4K signal chain, these would not then be obsolete. It's really exciting. Also, a lot of advanced edge blending and stacking capabilities here. We've done applications where we take 2 or 3 of these and put them on a mount and make a 30,000 lumen image on a screen, right? Or maybe we take the front of the classroom and we blend 3 of these across and have a seamless ultra-wide aspect ratio, high-resolution image. So a lot of capabilities with this projector.
Hey, Matt, got a question for you. Especially my friends from Canada, they're very familiar with this particular model, the PA653UL, PA803UL. But if they're paying attention, which I know they are, they would see PA1004UL, and it says future, right? So can you talk a little bit about that 4th generation PA? And for those who already have the 3rd generation PA, how is that translation taking place?
Sure, and like Mark just said, the 3rd generation. So 703U, 803U, there should actually be an L on there. My mistake. But these are laser models. We are moving to the 4th generation later this year, and they'll be available in 8 and 10,000 lumens. Also, it'll be available in a black case as well as the white that you see on the screen here. But we are going to exceed that 8,000 lumen mark, and we're going to have a 10,000 lumen model. And then it will use our full breadth of lenses, right? So all our manual shift lenses, 13ZL, 14ZL from our older PA lamp models will also work, as well as the powered zoom lenses you see here now that are currently in the market.
Thanks, Matt. So now we're going to transition over to collaboration. And this is where my good friend George Borden is going to really discuss the ins and outs, of course, as well as do a live demo of the CB series. So George, you just let me know when you're ready to go live. and I'll give you the con, buddy.
Will do, Mark. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's great, gentlemen. I really appreciate that wonderful information, and thanks for the segue. And now everybody on to something a little bit different. So what we have here is the CB Series interactive display. It's a wonderful product. It's a 4K display. It comes in 3 different sizes: 65-inch, 75-inch, and 86-inch. When we transition over here to the live shot, the one that you'll be seeing me demo on is the 65-inch. It has 350 nits anti-glare protective glass, fantastic IR touch, and the product boots to the screen that you see there on the left from the solid-state media player built in. It has 16 gigs of internal storage, and that solid-state media player boots Android 8.0. So it's the only product in our arsenal that is Android 8.0. It has other advanced features if needed, such as RS-232 and digital audio out. And it can be used with many other devices, even including an OPS computer and a few other things. So, Mark, with that being said, you can go ahead and turn on the live cam, and I can take everybody through a little bit of show and tell about this product. Let me know when I'm visible.
All set, George.
All right, everybody, greetings. It's a pleasure to see everybody there. Even though I can't see you, I know you can see me, and it's all good. So thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and I hope you're not too webinared out, like most of us here. So here it is, the 65-inch CB board, 4K display, IR touch, and then it boots to this screen right here from the solid-state media player that I just described. Now, let me give you an understanding of what you're looking at real quick. Obviously, you can see that we have time and date here, and then we have a few icons underneath. It's a value-packed device inherently in and of itself, even though you can add other peripherals and other things to it. So from an education standpoint, you would expect a whiteboard to be included in a product like this, and it is. So the first icon that we have over here to the left is a whiteboard application called Mosaic Canvas. It was especially designed for us from a company in Ireland called Display Note, which most of you may have heard of. The second icon to the right is a collaboration, should I say, a remote sharing application called Mosaic Connect. And what Mosaic Connect will do is it will allow up to 4 individuals remotely, regardless of whatever connection they're using, cellular, internet connection, iOS device, Android device, even sharing from a Google Chrome web browser. You can do that with Mosaic Connect. Also, we have files, settings, and input. Down here, we got some courtesy icons for some just administrative things. So if you have a Ethernet connection plugged into it, it'll show that icon here. I'm currently using the Wi-Fi. If I have a USB into the front or any of the other ports, those icons will show as well. Now, the other great thing about the product is that we have this navigation arrow over here. You can see it on the right and the left-hand side of the solution. So when you tap on it, some other navigation icons and some action buttons come up. So because it is an Android 8.0 device, there's some familiar icons here. The first one we have is a back button. So anywhere you're in the application or any external device, you can open up this sidebar, hit the back button, and it'll take you back a step. The home button will bring you back here to this home screen. It operates the same way as the back button. Just hit home, and it'll bring you back to the home screen. When you have applications open, you can minimize them, and they're kept with this third button here. We also have annotation capability, not within the whiteboard necessarily, but also within the entire CB board itself. So if it's this screen, if it's an application that you bring in from an app, or if it's an external device that you bring in, you can annotate over top of it. So let's go ahead and tap on that icon right there. You can see this little radio button came up. You can move that anywhere around the screen that you want. And then we have a few things to mention here regarding implements. So the first one here is a pen tool. The second icon over is our highlighter tool. The third one here is a broom, which represents erase, and then the last icon represents the save button. So you can tap on these implements and change the color, and then you can go ahead and write directly on the board. Again, no matter what you bring into the board, it'll stop that feed and freeze it, and then you can write over top of it. Another great thing about the annotation feature is that once you're done annotating, you can actually save the annotation as a PNG image file. So that PNG image file, conveniently enough, gets put into a directory labeled today's date. So you don't have to hunt and peck and forget where you put your files. It's easy to remember by clicking on that button there. Now, the next button underneath, we have a zoom feature, so you can zoom in and out. So for folks in the back of the room that need to see something a little better, you can do that. We also have some other things that we can bring into the product. Now, this is where it gets a little educational, in my opinion. So the first courtesy application we have here is called Spotlight. So if there's a picture or some kind of software or some kind of lesson that you want to focus attention on, you just simply click the Spotlight button. The Spotlight appears. You can pinch and zoom, make it large or small, and then you can basically do a Where's Waldo type of thing with that different application. The other one we have here, we have two clock functions. So we have a countdown clock and a stopwatch. So if you need to do any time functions that way, you can certainly do that. And then, excuse me, the last icon we have here is called Air Class. And what Air Class will do is it will allow all of the students that are in the class to participate in voting and interactivity with a lesson. And I'll show you a mini example of that once we get into the whiteboard. Lastly, we have different inputs, as I mentioned a couple of times. So not only everything that I'm showing you here that's inherent of the collaboration board that we're able to do, we can also do other things by bringing in external devices, and we'll go over that in a minute. Now, forgive the fact that you're going to see a little bit of a color shift here because this whites out my camera, but let's go ahead and talk about the whiteboard here real quick. So when the whiteboard boots up, it boots up to a blank canvas. And let me give you an understanding of what you're looking at here. The naming of the whiteboard goes up here in the upper left-hand corner. This area here is our dialog box where we bring in our other implements and we can bring in fonts and other things like that. Lower left-hand button, we've got Open, Save, and Save As. And then another convenient feature about the product is that you can have more than one board opened in the same session. So some whiteboards, I know you've seen them, I've seen them, they just are a one and done where you can only do one whiteboard presentation and then you have to open up a new one. On this product, you can have as many open that you need to, so you can have a logical progression of a lesson or some kind of information being delivered. Now let's look at some of the implements here. If we go over here, we have our writing tool. So we have a pen tool, a line tool, an arrow. We have different thicknesses for those implements. We can even change the color if we want really easily. So primary colors are included in that. Highlighter tool, the same function includes the colors and the thickness. You can also do shapes. So if I wanted to bring in a square, bring in a circle, no problem. That's not quite a circle, but you get the drift. You can change the color on that. Let's go ahead and erase some of this stuff. So we have eraser there that you can erase single items. You can do multiple selection of items to erase, or you can actually erase the whole entire board by clicking on the trash can. Now you can bring in text. Let's go ahead and bring in a text box. Real easy. Floating keyboard pops up. You can put that anywhere on top of the entire background. And then we put in some text right here. Now, then once the text's brought in, then you can manipulate that text like you would expect in any word processor application. We have a variety of fonts to choose from, sizes, and then other justifications that you can affect to that text. In addition to text, we also have Post-it notes. So this is a fun little thing. You can pop those in real quick, put your text in there, go ahead and hit that so that it saves, move the Post-it note around anywhere that you want on the canvas, and then you can start doing some effective designs and thought processes that way. As you would expect with a product like this, you can bring in images. So, if you wanted to do some practical, type of things, here's a basketball court, for instance, a football, grid, whatever you want to do, you can bring those pictures in and have it be a part of the board. So, the applications for this, not just only classroom, but also maybe locker room, or anything where there's sports and you want to, get that information out there. The other thing too, the last button at the top, it actually saves the entire whiteboard as a PNG image file, just like the annotation layer and the pull-out bar, and then that's it. Now, once you're done with your lesson, you can go to the upper right-hand corner where it says Download PDF, and you can actually download everything as a PDF. So you can actually save the current board, or you can save all of the multiple boards that you have in the session. Now, let me go ahead and erase this like I promised, and then I'm going to open up a little example of how to do a class and then how to do Air Class. So let's go and open, and let's just open this little quiz that I've been doing for a while. And like all good plagiarizers, I go to Wikipedia and I steal my information. So I went and put this information together about Abraham Lincoln, and let's just hypothetically say that I've taught the class. The class now understands this information about Abraham Lincoln. So what I do is I go to my board number 2. And then board number 2 is going to be our 2-question quiz. So traditionally, we would say, okay, class, here's the 2-question quiz. What's the answer to number 1? Everybody's raising their hand and causing a ruckus, but not anymore. You can do it a little more intelligently with this application here called Air Class. So what Air Class will do, again, it will allow the students in the classroom, you have to be on the same local area network in order to do this software. They can use their device to interact with the Q&A or anything that you design. So what you do is you take a picture of the QR code, or you type in the network address that's given on the CB series. And then what we'll do is it'll take you to a voting area. Now I'm going to get close to the camera here. Hopefully you can see this. So see, it recognizes that I am George. And now I'm going to hit the enter button, and then you should see it change. So there's A, B, C, D, E, F, true, false, and then we have a way to, get a message out there. So now that you see that I'm able to control voting from my display, let's go ahead and enter the class. So what we'll do then, since it's a true, false question, we have multiple choice, true, false, a couple other things that I'll show you here. Let's just go to the true, false button. They call it judge in this application. Let's hit the begin. Okay, kids, what's the answer to question number 1? Well, it's false. So let's hit OK, submit our answer. And the cool thing about this software is that once the teacher hits finished, then you see the results instantaneously on the board. So we're such a just-in-time society anymore, as we all know. We get to see those results instantaneously, and you get to save a lot of labor and hassle having to tally up those results. So that is available for you. Also, if you wanted to do some type of responder to the class, if you wanted to ask a question verbally or from the CB series, you can click this button here called Responder. And what it will do is it will play this drum beat, and it will wait for a student to respond. So you click Start, you hit OK, and now it knows that I'm the one that answered, that knows the question. So really great, convenient thing to do there. Now, also we have bashful students, and you guys know this. There's students you wish that would raise their hand, but they don't. Well, you can actually get them jump started with Randomizer, because you can actually randomize the selection for the student out there to get called on. We also have a message feature, and the message feature down here, basically, we don't need to show it. It just scrolls a message from the top right to the left. So it is saying, hey, teacher, I didn't get that information. You can see that somebody's trying to get your attention in this. So fantastic product. It's got everything in here. You got your voting application, the whiteboard. Then you can finish the session by going to the last slide where you can show the answers. And folks, that's how effective, the whiteboard is within the CB series. Now, the other thing, too, that I mentioned is that we have a product here, Mosaic Connect, and due to the sake of time, I want to just verbalize, how this operates. It takes, sometimes it's not always reliable, too, because networks, everybody's home at my house, and I know there's 5,000 CPUs going on at the same time, so bandwidth is precious. So yeah, there you go. Seems to be a problem with the network. Lo and behold, I wasn't expecting that. So let's go ahead and see if we can jumpstart this, and I guess we can't. Go ahead and figure Murphy's Law. Let me explain this. So Mosaic Connect allows up to 4 individuals that are remote to present their information to the CB series. It could be an Android phone, it could be an iOS device, it could be any other device using a Google Chrome web browser. And essentially what you would do is you would assign the person to deliver their information from their device, and their device information would show up on the CB board. And then the folks and the students that are local to the CB board would then see it, and then you as the teacher administrator would then be able to open up the annotation tool and then go ahead and annotate on top of that person's delivery. So they can deliver either a document or a video or their desktop, that way if they need to present, any type of homework remotely, you can do that. And I think that's one of the most important things that we need to understand about moving into the future. We really don't know what we're going to do. I mean, there's a lot of folks that, think they're going to be back in class with everybody, and there's others that think we're just going to stay home the rest of our life. Well, I think it might be a hybrid approach, and that's why you need a hybrid approach product that can not only help you inherently, but also bring in other devices to the unit that can help you keep doing what you do best. So in addition to that, we have the ability to bring in those other devices. Let me go ahead and open up Adobe Acrobat here so I can show you what we're talking about. So you have these different inputs on these CB series. So we have 3 additional USBs on the side. We have HDMI 1 and HDMI 2. So yes, you can bring in other computers into the unit. And this is a USB port in proximity to the HDMI 1 and 2. So you can actually take the touch and pass the touch command to the external device. And I'll show you that in a minute because I have an older laptop hooked up to it with touch. And you can have up to 3 different devices via HDMI plugged in. Also, we have HDMI 3 down here, and USB can be brought to that device. And also because education still has a lot of VGA in it, we support VGA. Additionally, we have audio, so you can bring audio into the CB unit. There's 2 12-watt speakers built into the product. You can go digital audio out. We mentioned RS-232 at the beginning of the slide. You have analog audio out. Here's your LAN input port, and then we have one more USB over there. Now let's bring over the annotation tool here again so I can just basically do some circling. The other thing that's really fantastic about the CB product is that you get a wall mount included with it. So literally, when you take this thing out of the box, you mount it on the wall, you fire it up, you are working on this without any kind of administration hassle, just like I'm doing. The other thing too, these styluses that I'm using here, these are passive styluses, and what that means is that there's no battery needed, there's no connectivity issues whatsoever. If you lose it, you get another one, or you can use your finger, you can use a credit card, any other plastic tip device will work on this. The other thing too, you're probably wondering, can I put applications into the product? Well, yes, you can. We can go to APK download sites, download the APK file, which if anybody doesn't know, the APK file is the Android version of what the Windows executable file is. So you just basically take your thumb drive, put it into the front of the device, and then you can put your icons in here for other applications such as Adobe Acrobat, Firefox web browser, Dropbox, and the list goes on and on. Now, in addition to the HDMI, I want to leave you with one other thought here, and then I'll turn the reins back over for Q&A and to Mark. There's an OPS slot in this CB device. So OPS stands for Open Pluggable Slot, Open Pluggable Standard. There's a lot of different ways to interpret the acronym, but essentially it's a slot where a computer can go into. So the CB board can be purchased, and you can do all the wonderful things, plus a whole lot of other things we're not able to discuss now due to time, but you can take this thing and bring it up to another level with the addition of a Windows 10 Pro OPS, add a high-end webcam or a middle-grade webcam, and then you're off and running doing WebEx, BlueJean, any of the other high-attendance type of applications, because obviously we're giving you a courtesy application here with Mosaic Connect and 4 users. That's not necessarily going to be enough. That may fit the bill for folks that have lost a snow day, because there's no such thing as a snow day anymore either, if you think about it. So you can bring an OPS computer into this and then basically turn this thing into something you never thought possible. So with that being said, folks, that's my 15-minute dissertation on the CB series. I appreciate your time and attention. Mark, I'll turn the reins back over to you. And if there's any other questions or any questions at all, I'm more than happy to help you out. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, George. We do have a few questions. This first one is for George, since you're already in the zone there, buddy. I think we mentioned on a previous slide, but can you remind us of what the standard warranty is for the CB?
CB is 3 years.
3 years, okay.
And education, no, we have special warranty considerations for education, so it's more than that.
Okay, okay. And that Star Student Program eligible, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Next question for George. Can you use different mounts on the interactive board or just the NEC model mount?
No, it's a courtesy mount provided because we want you to get up and running quickly. When I'm doing consulting for these products, I rarely do wall mount consulting. It seems that a lot of value with the product can be brought forth by using wheels with cart wheels basically. So I have 2 devices here with a cart on it. I can move it around however I want, but no, it's not mutually exclusive to the mount that we provide. You can use any mount that supports the Visa pattern of the product.
Okay, next question for George. Is Air Class included or is it a subscription based?
Air Class is included. There's no ongoing fee associated with Air Class. Also, the Mosaic software Connect and the Whiteboard application are also included. There are no ongoing fees or subscription fees associated with this product at all.
Okay, excellent. And then last one I have for George, before we get to Matt, there's one question for him. George, how does Wi-Fi work? Can you do 2-step authentication?
There is a Wi-Fi dongle that you have to get with the product. And then there are security authentications. We have Samba server for file share within the product and some other things too. And if we have to get a deeper dive on that one, we can talk offline. But yes, Wi-Fi is available and some other protocols for sharing and authentication.
Excellent. And thank you, Greg Burkett, who's down in Florida, who says that the Star Student Program provides the free 4th year of warranty on the CB series. So George, that's phenomenal. I mean, 4 years for a product on the wall. I mean, that's pretty good.
Absolutely.
That's pretty good. Matt, a question for you, Matt. Explain the HD base T repeater I seen in the slides. I think they might be talking about PA.
Yeah, on the PA series projectors, there is a HD base T in and then also an out on them. that is on the lamp and the laser model. So you could bring an HD-based cable in, and say you had a room where there was maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of those, you could then just chain out from projector 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and you don't have to do home runs for all of them, right? So you could get separate discrete images up to 4 on all 4 projectors with essentially 1 cable coming in and then chaining to the rest. Another application of that is if you did want to maybe blend 2 or 3 units, you could do that with a single HD-based in and then chain out, and you could blend those images and get 1 seamless image as well. So there's a lot of cost savings there, as well as labor and infrastructure to run that. You can just have each room be an endpoint, essentially.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another question just came in. Is the appliance suitable to use on secure enterprise networks? Example, it would be nice to have 2 network ports, one for the publicly facing functions and another one for admin VLAN. You want to speak to just the overall enterprise usage of the CB board, George?
Yeah, when it comes to that, I'm not recommending this for environments, where you have those security concerns of an enterprise level. It is Android 8.0. It's only limited to a point unless you understand Android and how to integrate it into your network. When it comes to things like that, what we're recommending with the CB board is the addition of a Windows 10 Pro OPS computer so that you can have a part of your network scheme, lock it down to everything that you currently have. So as it is itself, hooked up to the network, in that regard, not to downplay the significance of the product, but I would not recommend it for that.
So George, essentially, in order to make sure that you have the same level of security that you have on any other client device on that secure network, you recommend an OPS, which would just be running Windows 10, for example, and then it just becomes another client on the network. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm recommending, yeah, because there's really no way to lock down administrative access in the CB that you're seeing here. It's pretty open.
Yeah. Understood. Okay. Let's see. Matt, how much of a life extension are we looking at for laser projection if we run the projector between 80 and 90% of brightness?
Yeah, so say you take a PA or a P-series laser, and I think they called out 80%. If you put it at 80% output, which is roughly close to like an Eco-1 kind of preset that people typically had, you're going to extend that out to maybe from 20,000 hours of a laser half-life out closer to 30,000 hours. So you're talking, up to 50% more lifespan out of the lasers by dropping it down to 80%. So the upside there is if you do have a room that doesn't quite need 8,000 lumens, maybe it only needs 6,800 lumens, but you put the 8,000 lumen laser product in there, you can then dial that down and have that room run for well over 5 years.
Okay. If there's any other questions, those are the only ones that I see in the chat right now. If there's any other questions, you guys can go ahead and put those in the chat. Kristen, do you have any closing thoughts?
You know what? I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us. I think we've shared some tremendous information. We've got some amazing products. If you guys want to demo one of our projectors, reach out to your rep, reach out to any of us or someone at NEC. We would love to get these demos in your hands. If you're an IT director and you're at home right now, we can send it to your home. We'd be happy to do that. We're going to make it work. So we hope you get the chance to try out some of these products. And if you have additional questions down the road, again, please feel free to reach out to us. I think we've got a tremendous offering from an education vertical, and we'd love to work with you.
Great. And I'd also like to add, we've seen a couple of news articles here recently, just this morning, of numerous large universities that do have plans to be back in full session by the fall. So I think the picture is very hopeful, and we want you guys to be ready. We want to give you the tools and the technology you need to help all of your end users. And if you are an end user, have that fresh start, right? So whatever we can do, if you guys want to bounce ideas off of us, if you're working around with expanding your distant learning and things like that, we've got products that can assist not only desktop monitors for ease of just looking at a screen all day, right? But also just how the collaboration boards and the Infinity board, which we didn't talk about today, can be utilized in that virtual classroom setup. So as always, we're here to help you consult through those different scenarios. And if that is all, I don't see any more questions. We will adjourn this meeting. Again, thank you guys for attending. We appreciate your time this afternoon. Everybody stay safe. Thank you, George. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Gina. And we will see you guys soon. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.